Hello and welcome to another in real life race. This is stage 2 of the 2021 Juneau Freewheelers Tour of Juneau. Super awesome, happened in August. This stage 2 is a little over 20 miles. It takes you through my most often ridden routes. So I had felt like a little bit of an advantage going into it from that respect. Ends on a pretty decent climb up the road that goes to our ski area here, Eagle Crest Road. And this is my first in real life group ride ever. First time going quickly and trying not to die in the presence of other human beings on human-powered machines with two wheels. Super interesting and fun experience. I learned so much just from this ride that carried over into the next day, which was stage 4, was another group ride at the ending stage. And just the difference from this ride to that ride in terms of my comfort level and knowing what I should be doing increased substantially. So I look forward to more of these as our world returns to something, resembling normal. I just had so much fun, and just, it adds certainly another layer of complexity when you're trying not to run into others. You have stuff on the road to watch in addition to other cyclists around you and, traffic and all that. So good times. We had a nice little rolling neutral start here just to get our legs under us, and we'll skip ahead to the beginning, which started at the Mike Hatch parking lot on North Douglas, if you're familiar with the area. So there it is on the left. We're going to come up on an orange cone that represents the start of the race. Again, my first group race ever. All right, what do we do? There's nobody counting down or anything. We're just riding up on these markers and we go. And right off the bat, you can see how far back I am from everybody because I am a little nervous. I have no idea how close I should be. Plus, it's raining. Roads are wet. Dirt, mud's kicking up. I don't want to fall. I don't want to cause a crash. I don't want anybody else to fall. So, I'm just kind of hanging back and watching. And we're off. And pretty soon I did notice that there was a lead group of riders that I thought I should probably catch up with. It looked like there was a gap forming, and I'm back here, and it is, you can't really always see up front. And I scooped around there and, let's put some watts down, catch up to that group of 4 riders that have gapped the field a little bit and see what I can do. So that's my first bridging of a gap in real life. So many firsts on this ride. And even here, I spiked my power and got caught up. And then it as I got closer, I eased off a little bit too much. And then I gassed it a little bit too much. I was definitely yo-yoing a bit more than I would have liked. But eventually I get there. I never having felt the real life effects of a draft, I don't exactly know what I'm missing out on here. If I had just kept on the gas, caught up, and got in the rider in the white and red jersey in front of me is Liam. He and I became friends over this tour because we found each other, found us in each other's vicinity quite often. This is John, the rider, slotting in front of me, probably wondering why I am not drafting like I should be. Get in the slipstream. So yeah, super fun. Just figuring this out, wrapping my brain around, all right, how close should I be and where should I be? And okay, I am in it now. There is somebody behind me and someone in front of me. So let's get a little bit more cozy here, and we'll jump up to my first pull ever. Like I said, so many firsts. So this is funny. This is John again. He's in front of me. He's finishing his pull, moves over to the left, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? Oh, my turn. All right, let's push, over 5 watts per kilogram. Get out in front. That was probably 5. It might even have been closer to 6 watts per kilogram. And it was my first pull. It's pretty fun. I have zero idea what I'm doing. Well, not zero. I'm, like kind of a big deal in Watopia, but here in real life, it was such an interesting dynamic feeling, what a slipstream felt like versus what being on the front felt like. A definite advantage to being behind others. Now I get it. Now I understand. So that was my first pull. Awesome. I didn't die. Didn't cause anybody else to fall. So we'll check all those boxes off. And this was how it went for a little bit. I did find myself, again, in that little bit of I was just nervous, too nervous to really creep up on a wheel. You'll see here, this is another pull. And I'm going to slide over here and drop back. So here comes the train. And I just dropped back a bit too much. And so I'm not realizing the full effect of the draft. And I get these... I let these gaps form, and then I have to punch it to catch back up. And that really, as I learned later on, saps so much energy. It's so inefficient. And by the even turnaround point that we'll see here in a few minutes, I was done. I didn't have the legs to keep going. And I had, going into this race, felt pretty good, felt really fresh, but this kind of, falling off the back, punching it to get back in it and keep on it, and then letting it happen again and again. It just took so much out of my legs. Something I need to work on for next year, for sure. And we'll see it again here. So this is a tiny bit of an incline. It's nothing, nothing to write home about. But as we crest, start on the down. See, I'm just not close enough to the wheel in front of me. I look down at, there is some gravel. I look back up and there's, 2 or 3 bike lengths. And now I'm anxious about catching up and not hitting things in the road. So that's Will on the left in the Flow tights and Flow wheels. He's sponsored. He sees what's going. I'm sure he had a plan going into this all along. And I'm sure I helped out with part of that, just with some experience issues here. You'll see as we rotate up. So there's Liam coming off the front, John pulling up. I, third time, start letting a gap form. This is a downhill. John is pushing it a little bit. I have a gap coming up. There's a hill in front of us. So we have this bridge and then a pretty, it's a good hill coming off of this down, but you can see this gap has formed, and right about any second now. There's Will. He carries all that speed way better than I did. And he and Matt attack. And at this point, Liam and I said out loud, bye. And Liam and I are on our own now in between the chase group behind us and Will, John, and Matt, who just attacked in front of us. And Liam and I, we were both chatting for a little bit. We're like, well, neither of us really knows, much about road racing like this. So let's just work together. And that sounds good. We can take turns. We'll just do what we were doing. And we knew we knew we weren't going to catch the group in front of us, and that was fine. But we figured at the very least we could stick together for the rest of the race. So that's what we decided on right about here. So right now, as it stands, he's in 4th place. I'm in 5th place. First, second, and third are in front of us. And then I think we had up to 10 riders on this. I'm not sure. I can't recall offhand. We'll see him in a little bit. But chase group behind us. And so, awesome. Liam and I are going to work together. We're 9 miles in. We can do this, right? Right. Surely I can hang on, and Liam and I can take turns. So we're coming up on Picnic Cove right here. This is a pretty decent climb. I think it gets up to 8% over about a half a mile. I've ridden this dozens of times. I know this like the back of my hand. I know I can crest it in around 2 minutes. But I hit it, and all of that gapping that happened previously and getting dropped and catching up, getting dropped and catching up, this is where I felt it. So we're on this incline. It starts off 5-6%. And Liam hits it. He's doing great. And this right now felt like a slow motion train wreck for me. I'm watching him get just inches at a time farther away. And I keep thinking, I'll catch him. I just need a little bit of a rest and I'll catch him. Just a little bit more of a rest and I'll catch him. And as you can see, that snowballed pretty quickly. Going up this, I didn't have the legs, and I'm just watching him get farther and farther. And I start thinking to myself, well, I'll catch him on the downhill, right? I can just make it to the top here and then gas it on the downhill. Save whatever legs you can here, gas it on the downhill, and you can catch him there. But this was not in the cards. That wasn't going to happen. I was feeling dead right about here. So we're cresting, and that was that. Came down the other side. I did not catch Liam, but I got to see the top 3 riding back. There they are. Will, Matt, and John. And Liam is way up there. He's a dot to me now. He's about to hit the turnaround point at the end of North Douglas Highway to start heading back toward Eagle Crest ski area for the start of the climb. So yeah. From here on out, it was a long and lonely slog in the rain. This was about as close as I got to Liam for the rest of the race. Hello, goodbye. And I was chatting with Liam after the fact, and he said, I thought you were going to catch me any moment. I thought you were going to gain on me. He wasn't letting up to let me do that, which I don't blame him. Like I would not have let up, but he legit thought that I was making progress and going to catch him. And I'm like, nope. I knew I wasn't. Here I'm, 200 watts right here feels painful. And we have a nice little hill here. There's a couple more riders from the chase group, and I think we have a couple more coming up. But yeah, so this is the backside of that Picnic Cove climb. And it's not quite as steep, but it's just a longer bit of climb to the same elevation. At the very least. So, get over the top here. And I have one of my favorite views in Juneau when cycling, this view. Coming down off the downhill off the Picnic Cove downhill, you can relax a little bit, and then it opens up. You see Gastineau Channel, the Mendenhall Glaciers out there in the distance, Spoon Island, if you're familiar with the area, Engineers Cut Off, all of it's just, maybe that's not Spoon Island. I'll have to double check my Juneau geography. But it's just a beautiful ride. So this kept me company. And I just treated it like a normal workout ride, maybe a little bit extra effort just to hold off the chase group behind me. And then Eagle Crest. As we roll up on it here, like I said, my legs were already done, but I'm like, I can do this. I can make it up Eagle Crest, which I did. I did it in a time I was happy with. I sped it up here. My GoPro died about 3/4 of the way to the top, but wasn't the best. I didn't make up any ground on anybody. I didn't lose my position. Ended up finishing 5th, obviously. And, it was a fun first race. Like I said, I learned so much from this going into the race on the next day. Here's the first kind of big kicker on Eagle Crest. This is where it's real. I need to figure out what the grade is at the beginning here. I know coming down, this is the fastest part, and you pick up 2, 3, 4 miles an hour on this, what you can see in front of you here. It's pretty, the grade is pretty significant. But anyway, learned so much from this that I carried over into the next day, and I think I did better the next day because of it. And, bonus footage coming up. I finished 5th, but the bonus of going up Eagle Crest is that you get to do the opposite after you get to the top and turn around and come back down. So I have some bonus footage at the end, but yeah, here I was just feeling, just do it, just get up to the top, pushing 8 miles per hour. Oh my goodness. I think on a good day, I can normally do this a little bit quicker than that, like 8.5 miles an hour. Huh. But again, it's hard to complain. I was with great people, at the beginning and the end of the race. I was with great people. And this view, riding a bike in Juneau, Alaska is unlike anywhere else I've ever been, running, riding, or visiting. Just such a cool thing. One of my other favorite views is coming up in just a second. And then we'll skip over to that bonus footage. But right about, so come around this corner right here. It's a great view on a cloudless day. You have a mountain right at the middle of the road. And I'll often ride in the middle of the road. And it's a great thing. I have, the Garmin Varia radar that tells me when cars are approaching from behind. I'm always very cautious about it too. But when I have a great view like that, where I can see, the mountain, the road and the mountain or whatever it is line up like that, I'll treat myself a little bit and ride down the middle of the road just to maximize the view. So yeah, finished 5th. I heard it was a pretty fun sprint finish at the top. Missed that, obviously, but GoPro died, and called my wife to bring an extra battery out to me that I should have brought and didn't, but plugged that in and came down. And this is that first kicker climb I talked about. This is hitting that on the way back down. So you can see I'm going 40 here. I'm a little cautious. Just I've done this plenty of times, but wet roads make me a little nervous sometimes. But 45, and you'll watch it when you hit that kicker. The speed goes up pretty dramatically. Well, not dramatically, but we go from 45, 46, 47, maybe 48. I forget if I touched 48 on this one. Maybe not. Holding back just a bit. But yeah, beautiful ride. Great people. Great race. Great first experience. And so much learned from this. Yeah. So check out the rest of the Tour of Juneau series. I'll have all 4 of them up, and subscribe to the channel if you like. Pedal Faster Club. Ride on. Take care.